Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon us all. The Honorable Examiner of this final examination, the Honorable my supervisor, Mr. Asep Hayudin MPD, and Miss Nantia Rahmijati MPD. In this special occasion, I am Ima Zahrotus Saadah with students ID 1922-033 and 6 from B2 2019 English Education Study Program. I would like to thank the examiner who have given me an opportunity to present about my research paper with the title Improving Students' Writing Skill of Narrative Text by Using Short Anime Stories at the 9th grade of Al-Azhar Islamic Junior High School. We are going to contents. We have contents, and for the first, research background, and the second, objectives of the research, and then research methodology, and then result, and the last, conclusion. Let's begin with research background. According to Sudaryanto in 3 Agustus 2021, say that writing skill is a person's ability to express his or her mind and feeling which is expressed in a written language in graphic symbol so that the reader can understand the message inside. Writing can also be a hobby to spend all time, but finally in this modern life, people can get money for doing their writing. For example, for a journalist, novelist, and scriptwriter, students in Al-Azhar Islamic High School have obstacles in learning to write. They come from students and teacher factors. From students' factor, firstly, students do not have enough practice in writing text because many students have difficulty starting to write and put their idea into writing, especially in narrative text. Therefore, the students need to master the structure of English language, vocabulary, and also know the spelling or the words to be able to write correct sentence. And the second, students think writing is a very difficult thing. Thus, they did not how to start writing their experience or idea into good writing. And the last problem is low motivation. The boring teaching technique and classroom atmosphere do not support the students' motivation to write a paragraph. Therefore, students need to motivation to overcome their obstacle in writing. Based on this condition, the researcher chose short anime stories to improve students' ability writing skills of narrative text. By using short anime stories as learning media, teacher may allow students to practice writing narrative text based on the story in the video. The story, moving pictures, song, and music in the video will make teaching learning process more communicative and interesting. And the next slide, we have objectives of the research. The first, to find out the improving of writing skill of narrative text by using short anime stories at the 9th grade of Al-Azhar Islamic Junior High School. And the second, to know the implementation of using short anime stories in improving writing skill of narrative text at the 9th grade of Al-Azhar Islamic Junior High School. And the last, to identify teachers and students' obstacle of using short anime stories in improving writing skill of narrative text at the 9th grade of Al-Azhar Junior High School. And the next slide, we have research methodology. For the first one, method. I use mixed method for this research. This method was chosen according to its characteristic because the research question to be answered include outcomes and process that include combining quantitative and qualitative data, which is where the mixed method is to find whether research result compared to using only one approach. And for design, I use the explanatory sequential design. This design is used because in the first stage of data collection and analysis of quantitative data, and followed by qualitative data collection and analysis in the second stage. And for instrument, in this research, I use test and non-test. For test, I use pre-test and post-test. Manual non-test, I use observation and interview. And for population and sample, I have population for 40 students of 9 grade of International Junior High School, and for sample I choose 9A consists of 20 students. And the last data collection. In the collecting data, the writer obtained the data divided into two parts: quantitative and qualitative data. The quantitative data collected through observation and interview, whilst the qualitative data collected by pre-test and post-test. Move to the next slide, we have result. The improving of writing skill narrative text by using short anime stories. And the first we have test. In this slide, I have two tables. The left table is pre-test score, and the right table is post-test score. For the pre-test score, the student got entire qualification with rank 50 score from 70 until 79, where 2 students or 10%, 9 students or 45% got poor, and 9 students or 45% got very poor, and there is no student in world good and excellent qualification. And the right table we have post-test score. The student got in excellent qualification with rank score from 90 until 100, where 2 students or 10%, 12 students or 60% who got good qualification, and 6 students or 30% got higher qualification. So we can compare the pre-test score and post-test score. The post-test score, the pre-test score is low, and the post-test score are higher. And the next slide we have another result. The first one, normality test. Analysis of the normality test of the students with test and obtain V value 0.133, while the students post-test data obtain V value 0.32 M1. Because V value higher 0.05, then HANO is rejected. So it can be concluded that the student pre-test and post-test data were normally distributed. And then we have homogeneity test, and the result based on the table above, the V value is 0.142 because the value is higher 0.05, then HANO is rejected. So it can be concluded that the variance of each data group is the same or homogeneous. The next slide we have the test result. The mean of both of pre-test and post-test was 44,000. Standard deviation was 6.66 and 5. Mean standard error was 1,049,000, and the lower difference was 27,119, while the upper difference was 20,088 and 1, and the result test T is 16.104, with derivation 19 and significancy 0.000. And the result in the table above show that the significant value of to tell is 0.000. That means the significant value is less than 0.05. This means that there is a significance in improving students' writing skill by using short anime stories. Slide we have the implementation of using short anime stories in improving writing skill of narrative text. To respond the second question, which is the qualitative part, the researcher use an observation sheet to assist in the research. The observation sheet conclude all of the meeting from 13 until 20 on February 2023 in main A. And for meeting 1, the teacher saw a video and asked students to different orientation, complication, and resolution. At the end of learning, students are asked to review the learning that has been studied. And the second meeting, the teacher presented the garlic and salad video. After watching the video, students were asked to analyze which includes the next chapter. Students are also asked to make narrative text based on their own. At the end of the lesson, the teacher asked students to review the lesson that have been delivered. And the last meeting, in this lesson, the researcher gave a question to stimulate the student in teaching and learning activities. The teacher saw a video of the fisherman and his wife and asked students to come forward to explain which parts include orientation, complication, and resolution. Students are asked to make narrative text to find out whether there is an increase in writing skill. After being taught using short anime stories for evaluation, students are asked to discuss. For all meeting that can be concluded, almost students have improved in writing skill of narrative text by using short anime stories. And the next slide, teacher and student obstacle of using short anime stories in improving writing skill of narrative text. The collection of qualitative data to answer the third basis question was conducted through interview. Interview were conducted by giving several questions to 5 research subjects related to several factors that influence learning outcomes. And I choose 3 students to interview with me. The student obstacle, firstly, most of the students feel difficult to start because they have low vocabulary mastery. They could not arrange the sentences well. They just combine the sentence without think about the main idea and supporting ideas. And the second, they have not fully mastered grammar in English, so when they try to write, they are still confused about the grammar that must be used, so that they are not confident in their own writing because of the many grammatical errors that are used. And then teacher obstacle. During the learning process, the teacher are faced with obstacle related to make the student be able to transfer the idea. And one of the obstacle in teaching writing is about the low exciting student in learning writing. For this reason, it's very important for the teacher to know how to teach writing is enjoyable, exciting, and interesting in learning writing, especially in writing narrative text. And then the alternative ways to teach writing narrative text in this study, the writer offers one of media used in writing class. It is teaching writing using short anime stories. And the next obstacle faced by teacher during learning is that there is no electric plug in the classroom. So when I going to use the projector, I have to connect it to office first, and the required socket must be long. And the last obstacle is that the projector use must be had beforehand. The projector must be preheat for about half an hour. If not had, it will cause the flame to turn off when using the projector. As a conclusion, for the first one, the significant valuation of two tiles is 0.00. That means the significant value is less than 0.05. This means that there is a significant in improving student writing skill by using short anime stories. And the second, using short anime stories helps students to develop writing skill and understand subject more easily. And the last, student have low vocabulary mastery, have not fully mastered grammar, English, and low motivation. All of these difficulties can be overcome properly. The Honorable Examiner, I have presented my research paper as all my presentation. Thank you so much for your nice attention. Thank you and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.